There really is. Antony Davidson and I can't keep the smiles off our faces, and this is a day after that incredible Grand Prix. It really was something special. But I want to ask you first of all, Antony, and we're standing outside the Mercedes factory with Lewis Hamilton putting his first race victory badge of the year down there. We had this discussion last year. Is it all about the car? Lewis Hamilton's 7 world championships. Did yesterday prove so much of it is about the driver?
When it comes down to such fine margins, Craig, it does become the driver's influence that really comes down to that. And the fact that we've got that competition that we always craved as fans, as viewers of the sport. The team behind me as well, they want competition. They didn't want people saying, it's all about the car, nothing to do with the driver. What you need are those two teams, just two teams, is all it takes to bring their cars close together enough that then it becomes down to the driver. Because the driver only gives another, that extra 5 to 10% on top. The car does a lot, of course, and it's the same old question, is it the jockey or the horse?
Well, you were just saying to me, the bracket of drivers that could have done what Lewis Hamilton did yesterday was a very rarefied group. I mean, mention some of the names you were telling me a minute ago.
It is, Senna and Schumacher spring to mind instantly. I know others have done it, but to win a race in not the fastest car, albeit not by much, but it certainly wasn't the fastest car throughout the entire weekend in Bahrain, that puts you into a very special category of drivers, in my opinion.
Yeah. Great moments at the end, great battle over a number of laps between Verstappen and Hamilton. What about that pass, the handing back of the place? A lot of people on social media, a lot of commentators saying Red Bull should have kept Verstappen out, taken a time penalty, but a time penalty that wouldn't have been enough to prevent Verstappen winning the Grand Prix. Is that right?
It's an interesting debate, and Max even questioned the strategy, the tactic at the end of the race to his engineer, saying, look, you should have left me out there. I could have gained the 5 seconds and won the race virtually, if you like, with that time deficit. But checking with the stewards, often in quite good contact with them, because I have to do a similar role on the Skypad, don't forget. I have to be the judge and jury sometimes in what I do. So we're in contact, and I said, look, what's the ultimate penalty that Verstappen could have received for that infringement? And it would have been 10 seconds. So going against the race director's request to give that position up, I think they would have come down pretty hard on that, given the ultimate infringement of 10 seconds. And with that, I don't think he would have had enough. I don't think he could have pulled 10 seconds in 4 laps. So 5 seconds, yes, but 10 seconds, I don't think he had the speed left in his tyres to achieve that kind of gap on Hamilton. And also, it wouldn't have been a very nice way to end the race, to be looking at, but what's the penalty going to be? The race will be decided in the stewards' room. We don't want to see any of that. They made the right call to do it right there and then on the track. Yeah,
fair play to Max and for Red Bull for doing that.
Yeah, no, sorry, Coach, just to butt in there. I think the old Verstappen wouldn't have done what he did. So you've got to give him, hats off to Verstappen as well. This is a new Max that we're seeing, very mature, a great racer like we know, super quick, and I think that level of maturity that he did there was very poignant for the rest of the championship.
Okay, so Lewis has won the opening battle, but what about the overall campaign? 4/10 down in qualifying. Andrew Shovlin, one of the top engineers here, is saying our car, the Mercedes car, is in no way superior to the Red Bull. In our best corners, we tie the Red Bull. Elsewhere, they're superior to us. You've got the inside track. You drive the simulator here. How much work has been going on between winter testing and the first race to try and make up that deficit? And can they make it up over the season?
Yeah, well, like you say, I do the sim work here, and I was doing some of the prep work before Bahrain, and there's one thing this team's very guilty of, it's not being very good at losing. So they were pushing me hard, we were pushing each other hard, and I think Lewis falls into that category as well. They hate to lose, and despite not having the fastest car, they somehow managed to salvage a victory.
But can they keep doing that?
I don't know. That's the golden question. I don't know. At some point you see the natural ebb and flow between different tracks you go to throughout the year. We've seen it year after year in Formula One. There will be, I say it right now, there will be races this year where the Red Bull just storms off to victory. Where it's a boring race, you see a Red Bull domination. We will see those races, and hopefully we'll have more of the former here, in Bahrain. But I do predict those kind of races that are coming our way. but we have to. That's why we have to enjoy what we saw yesterday.
Just a final thought: if Sergio Perez had qualified second on the grid alongside Max Verstappen, would Lewis have had the opportunity to win yesterday's Grand Prix?
Another good question, because look, in having Valtteri up there with a sniff of a chance of victory at one point, close enough, he was just 3.5 seconds behind Lewis, who was 2 seconds behind Max at that stage. It puts the lead team under pressure. You need the wingman, you need that other driver there to help win the strategic battle, and that's what Red Bull didn't have. They were fighting one-handed in that race yesterday at times because of Perez's problems in qualifying and then at the start of the race, starting from the pit lane ultimately. And that's why Perez is there to replace Alex Albon, because Albon left them in that situation time and time again last year. They put Perez in that car to rectify that situation, so they can fight a fair fight strategically, and they were once again left to fight with just a sole car out there. You can then play around with strategy, and that's exactly what Mercedes did.
Briefly and finally, is this shaping up to be Lewis's toughest title potentially, even though one has obviously gone to the final day, his first one, but this one, a couple of them have, but this one looks something special potentially?
This is something special for all of the fans of the sport. We have to really enjoy these moments, these Grand Prix that are coming our way, like we saw yesterday, because when you get two protagonists like we had in Bahrain, it only takes two. It only takes a Lewis and a Max, and then we've got fantastic racing. And I was shouting at the TV like everyone else was. Regardless of who your favourite driver is, I think we all have to agree that it's a joy to watch two supreme athletes at the top of their game, and long may it continue.
Yeah, it was holding your breath. I was throughout those last laps. Incredible. I don't know if we can get right close into that badge there, because the good news is, Anthony, one race down, still 22 potential epics to go in this Formula One season, of course, live on Sky Sports F1 throughout the year.